Phil's day off. Because yesterday was actually my day off from streaming, okay? And unlike the usual story that I tell you, this week I actually have some stuff to talk about. So, yesterday, my wife and I decided that we were actually going to go out and celebrate our anniversary, even though our anniversary was 3 weeks ago. We finally said, well, it looks like we finally have opportunity to do so. All right? So, not that we did a ton of stuff. We actually had to go out and do all our errand-style stuff first, like grocery shopping and getting pet supplies and the like. We had to do all that first. We had to do quite a few things first, actually, before we actually got to the fun stuff. But after we finally got all that crap done, we decided that we wanted to drive out to a nice shopping center that's about 45 minutes to an hour away from us. We've only been there maybe once or twice before. And every time we go there, it's a really nice thing because it's very high end. Like, unlike a normal like mall that you would go to, this place is not only like stores like you would see in a mall, but they've got really high end shopping stuff, like designer clothing stores and stuff like that. Now, by the way, we were not spending any money on those stores. It was funny because if you're there, you want to see what's there, right? So we drive about 45 minutes to an hour. We get there. And we just start walking around, and man, the mall is beautiful. It's like, it's crazy when you see a high-end mall where it's, you know, the clientele is like on the up and up. You know what I mean? Like, everyone there has a lot of money, and they're walking around buying ridiculous shit. And you go into this store. It's supposed to be a designer clothing store, boutique for a designer that's based out of like California. Okay? You start looking around. Oh, these shirts are very nice. You know, Kat's like, oh, I really like this. She's looking at a few shirts. Oh, any of these would be great. Okay, let's look at the price. $335 for a shirt. Nope. Okay, maybe that's just an example of something that's too expensive. Let me go look at the discount rack. $165 for a shirt. Woo! Okay. Turn around. Here's the jewelry section. Now, the jewelry section isn't even necessarily what you would consider like jewelry. It's kind of like, how can I even explain it? Like, maybe some beads, not lockets. What is the word I'm thinking of? Charms. Yes, like a charm bracelet made by the designer, right? Oh, okay, a charm bracelet made by this designer. I wonder how much this goes for. $135. And, all right, it's nice to look. It's nice to be there every once in a while. You go somewhere where you're like, it's window shopping. We're walking around this place like, we can't spend any money here. Even if we wanted to, we couldn't spend any money here. How you can't afford this shit? This is ridiculous. Even if you say, oh, let's splurge, let's buy a shirt. $335? You can't fucking afford that. That's insanity. But it's certainly nice to at least be able to kind of walk around and see a more higher end mall. Okay? Now, incidentally, one of the major reasons why we actually drove out there is because, number one, there's a lot of good restaurants out there, and we wanted to get something more high-end for a dinner to celebrate our anniversary, okay? So that was one thing that we were planning to do. But the other half of the equation, okay, was that, why are you saying $235? I said $335 for the shirt. You're off by $100. It was $335. Yeah, insane. And no, we didn't buy anything. It's insanity. Anyway, the other reason we had gone out there is because we wanted to go to the Yankee Candle store. For those who don't know what Yankee Candle is, if you don't live in the United States, you might not know. It's a very popular brand of scented candles that you burn and makes your house smell good. And we like these. We've had some of them over the years. We don't buy them often because they're quite expensive when they're full price. But every once in a while, they have a really good sale. Sometimes they'll send you in the mail a coupon, and it'll be like, buy two, get two free. So at least you're getting essentially candles for like half price if you do that, okay? But here's the problem. There are no Yankee Candle stores in our area at all. There used to be one at the local mall. They closed years ago. And if you're going to spend good money on something like a scented candle, you want to smell it first. You don't want to just buy something on a whim and have absolutely no idea what you're getting. You know what I'm saying? who the hell would want to spend top dollar for something? You get it, it smells bad, and you're like, oh shit, now I wasted all that money, right? So it's nice to have the stores around. So we had been to this Yankee Candle store a couple times in the past, all right, and we wanted to go again, and we were going to do, smell all the different scents, especially now COVID's over, thank God. Now you can do this again, because that was the thing. When COVID was going on, they were like, oh, no, you can't open the candle, can't smell it, can't do this, can't do that. So we didn't even bother going out there, okay? So we go out there, excuse me, and, we're walking around the mall, and this mall's huge, by the way. This mall has 2 full giant floors and a third kind of semi-half floor. They've got all kinds of crazy stuff at this place. And we're walking around, and then we're like, wait a minute. We've been here for like an hour, and we're walking around the whole mall like, where is it? Something's up. And so we go and we look at the freaking, what do you call it? The mall map. They're gone. They also went out of business even at the high-end mall. So my question is, does Yankee Candle Store even exist anymore? They've all went out of business in our area. There's none. So the only way you can actually smell Yankee Candle is to go to like some stores like Bed Bath & Beyond will have a limited selection of Yankee Candles in the store. So you can only smell what they have, but that's only like a tiny selection compared to what they actually really have available. And we're like, this sucks. We drove all the way out here, almost an hour out of our way to possibly get some candles for the house, and now we can't. They don't have them. It doesn't exist. So we were pretty pissed, all right? I'm not going to lie. We were pretty upset about that. So then, to end the night, we went and got dinner. Now, this was a double-edged sword. We knew that the restaurant we were going to was probably going to be good. It was a very high-end Chinese-style, Asian fusion-style restaurant, okay? And they got good reviews and everything. But this place that we drove to was actually city, like a city downtown area. Skyscrapers, limited parking. So we find the restaurant. We'd never been there before. But I had to drive around for about 15, 20 minutes to find somewhere to park. And it was a pain in the fucking ass with city parking. If you don't know, if you never lived in a big city, you either got to try to drive around until someone leaves and immediately take their spot, or you got to find a parking lot and figure out, is this a pay-to-park parking lot, or is this a free-to-park parking lot, and how does this work? And it's confusing, and then you don't even know where you are. Now you got to use an app to walk around the city to get to the fucking restaurant. It's stressful, to say the least, especially for someone like me. I live in suburbia. I don't live in Seattle. I live in the outskirts of Seattle. Purposefully, I did that because I know when you live in the suburbs, it's way less stress. There's less people. Things are more open. It's not as bad. That whole city life, I've been there, done that. Like, I used to go to New York City all the time. When I lived in Connecticut, I would visit New York City frequently. Especially I would go to Chinatown Fair, which is an arcade in Chinatown, New York, where you would play all the competitive Street Fighter games against some of the best people from the East Coast, okay? So I've been there. I've been on the subways. I've been on the trains. I've walked the city streets where people are crammed in like this, sardines, and rubbing against each other and shit. I've seen it all right? I like visiting cities. I would never live in one. Unless it was completely against my will, I would seriously never live in a major city because it's just too stressful, too much crime, too many assholes. You know what I'm saying? And this was just a taste of that. And both myself and my wife were stressed out. We were like, this sucks. We don't, we hope the food is good because the stress of getting to the place and everything was just a pain in the ass. But we got there, and it was good. My wife got this beef dish that was, basically it was like sliced beef steak, seasoned in like 4 or 5 different ways with a delicious sauce. I took one bite. I was like, this is the best beef I think I've ever had. I'm not even kidding. It was insanely tasty. Like, just ridiculous over-the-top flavor. Like, wow. They cooked it perfectly because it's kind of a little bit rare in the middle, but it's absolutely delicious. It absorbed all these flavors beautifully. I got a shrimp dish where it's completely different than anything I've ever had before. Normally when you think shrimp, you think, oh, maybe they sauteed them in a sauce, or maybe they breaded them and you dip them in something, or, coconut shrimp, or maybe a tropical dish with some fruit. Nothing like that at all, okay? First of all, they were giant. Like, no exaggeration, the shrimp were like that big. Like, huge shrimp. You pick it up like, whoa, it's huge, okay? And the way they cooked it was unique. I'd never seen this before. So they cut off the head, but they left the legs on it, okay? And they left part of the shell on it too. They didn't just completely de-shell the shrimp. But then they breaded it, okay? And then they fried it or cooked it or whatever, and then they seasoned it in a simple salt and pepper seasoning. But the way that they cooked it, okay, it was crispy and crunchy, and it was completely edible. Now, I know some people will just take a whole fucking shrimp and eat the whole thing with the shell on. That's kind of nasty to me. But they left it on, they cooked it in a way that when you bit into it, it was crunchy and delicious. And the way that I compare this is many, many, many years ago, before I was a more well-versed eater, I actually used to be turned off by fried calamari at an Italian restaurant. For those who don't know, fried calamari is squid, and it's served two different ways. You can either have a ring, which is just the actual flesh of the squid, chopped into a ring and fried and breaded, or you can eat the tentacles. Okay? The tentacles are actually really interesting looking because it's just a bunch of little, like, it looks like little octopus arms, tiny little ones, and they're breaded or whatever. Now, I always stayed away from the tentacles. I thought that was creepy. I was like, dude, I don't want to eat the tentacles. It looks gross. One day, finally, someone convinced me. They said, you got to try this shit. So I finally did. The tentacles are fucking amazing. It's the best part of the calamari. I don't even want the calamari rings anymore. All I want are the tentacles. They're insanely full of flavor, and they're crispy as shit. You go to eat it, it's like crunch, crisp, crunch. Oh, it's delicious. Absolutely full of flavor and amazing. Okay? So, this is kind of a similar deal. It's a shrimp still having some of the shell on and still has the legs on it. And it looks weird and unappetizing. But when you bite into it, it is crunchy and delicious. I loved it. Wow, this is a presentation of shrimp I've never seen before. And it actually, like, opened my eyes that it's actually delicious. That's why some people eat everything on the shrimp. Now, there was also, it was on a bed of diced red peppers, green peppers, jalapenos, green onions, and a unique seasoned breadcrumbs. Okay? So it was pretty neat. All right, I really enjoyed it. And, I really enjoyed it. And I was like, wow, this is something different that I've never had before. Also, we did get an appetizer, which we almost never do, but because this was a special occasion, kind of celebrating our anniversary very late, we got a barbecue pork appetizer. Now, normally you say barbecue pork, that's like a normal thing you would get at like a fast food Chinese restaurant. Oh, no. This was thick cut piece of pork, marinated, slow cooked. You put it in your mouth, the slice of pork, okay? It fucking melts in your mouth. It's like, oh my God, because it's got a little bit of the fat, but it's got the delicious meat that has all the flavor in it. Like, oh my God, this pork is fucking amazing. So we loved it. Like, basically, everything that I had in this meal was absolutely amazing, okay? So even though we were stressed out, we drove an hour to go out there. There was no Yankee Candle at the mall, and it was stressful trying to find parking at this restaurant. It was kind of worth it because the food was just amazingly good. So we were happy about that. And we had a good time. We drove home. We had some time with Jasper. We relaxed. We watched MasterChef. We've been watching a lot of MasterChef recently, so we're watching a new season now. And, you know, it was a good day overall. It was a good day off. A little different because we actually drove out of our way, which we almost never do. And now next week we're probably back to staying at home because, you know, now we have no money again. What can you do, right?